Hello and welcome to MBC News, and you're with me, Hatso Tebulo. Our sign language interpreter is Linlem Ponda. Glad you could join us. Coming up, the Vice President expresses dismay over some opposition political leaders alleged to have sponsored some youths to stone his motorcade as he planned to donate maize flour in Ndirande Township. Malawi is expected to boost its international trade following plans to intensify the use of rail through the Nakara corridor. And Human Rights Consultative Committee held President Chakwera's State of Nation address, describing it as inclusive. Now the news in detail. Vice President Dr. Michael Ussi has strongly condemned senior members of an opposition political party for allegedly sponsoring some youths to stone his motorcade upon learning of his intention to distribute maize flour to those affected by hunger in Ndirande Township. Dr. Ussi made the condemnation after making the donation. Blessings Chirauka has more in this report.
In his address, Vice President Dr. Michael Ussi stated that he has reliable information indicating that a senior opposition figure incited youths to disrupt the food distribution exercise in the township. Despite these efforts to interfere, Dr. Ussi carried on with his mission and successfully delivered the food items to the community.
There are some individuals that paid certain boys to say when the Vice President comes here, stone his vehicles, the motorcade. He shouldn't come here. But I'm saying, what type of manners are these? People are hungry, they need food. You can't give them the food, and yet you give money to thugs to stone the motorcade. So I said, no, there's no place in Malawi where anybody cannot go. I said, I will go. They even said I shouldn't come here. I said, I will come here. So I'm happy that those boys that were told to stone the motorcade are here and they're peaceful. The ladies are here, they're peaceful. They have received the food, they have received the money. So what I'm saying is political parties should be very careful. We are solving an issue that is affecting all Malawians, regardless of their political affiliations.
Dr. Ussi urged the youth to refrain from being used by politicians and instead focus on promoting development in their communities. He called on citizens to allow political parties to hold peaceful gatherings and activities in Ndirande and across the nation.
I'm not asking these people whether they belong to Odiaza Jalibe Mulandu or UTM, MCP, UDF. I'm just distributing. And for somebody from a certain political party to say, don't go there, stone the motorcade, to me, is madness. And what they are trying to do, this political party, they are trying to provoke a government, inviting government to a fight. You know, 3 or 4 people, because they know by stoning a motorcade, they can be fired at, and there can be fatalities. And that's what they're trying to provoke. But I have told my entourage, my staff, to say, no, we are peaceful people. And God is good all the time. The people that they were trying to influence to come and stone the motorcade, they are here. And they've said we can't do that. We are a peaceful people, and we are here to be with you.
Naso Nisani, one of the youth leaders in Ndirande, thanked the Vice President for the timely donation and reassured him that the youth of the area would no longer allow themselves to be exploited by politicians.
As young people in Ndirande, we will not condone this malpractice. Many people in our township are suffering from hunger, and we will not stop anyone from assisting the vulnerable. The Vice President is providing aid without considering political affiliation, and as the youth of Ndirande, we are united against political exploitation.
Dr. Michael Ussi has been leading efforts to distribute essential items, including maize flour, fertilizer, and other relief supplies to vulnerable populations across Malawi. Blessings Chedeuka, MBC, Ndirande.
Malawi is expected to boost its international trade following plans to intensify the use of rail through the Nacala corridor. The country has previously transported both imports and exports by road through Beira and Dar es Salaam, a development which makes it expensive for the end user. Malawi Revenue Authority Commissioner of Customs and Excise Cornelius Kagwesa says Malawi stands to benefit from rail transportation through Nacala, which is cheaper than the road transport. More in this report.
The Southern Africa Trade Connectivity Project, which will see increased usage of rail as compared to road, is being financed by the World Bank with the purpose of increasing regional trade coordination. The project has since convened 3 countries, Malawi, Mozambique and Zambia, to a roundtable discussion that will help them modernize and integrate their customs procedures. Malawi Revenue Authority Commissioner of Customs and Excise, Cornelius Kagwesa, has challenged delegates from the 3 countries to find solutions that will improve trade among the 3 nations.
We are looking at simplifying the trade procedures and making trade predictable by making sure that the corridor is automated and we have interface with the 3 different customs institutions for Zambia, Malawi and Mozambique, so that we are interfaced and we share data.
A Mozambican customs representative, Osvaldo Correa, has pledged to work closely with the Malawi government in exchanging relevant information necessary for the implementation of the project.
One of the key issues that bring us to Malawi is to make sure that we'll exchange data, customs information, custom procedures and these kind of things, to make sure that we'll operationalize the OSBPs that we have with Malawi and with Zambia.
And Zambian Customs and Excise representative Mazuas Malawi points out that streamlining and automating customs systems among the 3 nations will be key to the success of the project.
So one of the things also that we are looking at under automation is to look at how we, from our perspective as Zambia, how we facilitate advance payments. We want people to be able to submit information in advance and then even proceed to make advance payments, so that when they really get to our borders, we do not take that much time.
The Customs and Excise Cluster, which is currently meeting in Lilongwe to iron out issues relating to trade facilitation, is one among the many clusters that have been tasked to address bottlenecks in regional trade, especially among the 3 nations. Trust Office, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Office of the President and Cabinet, OPC, says following the presentation to Parliament of the State of the Nation address by President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera on 14th February 2025, Cabinet ministers will engage the public to provide updates on the many development projects completed and in progress in every district across the country. According to a statement signed by Secretary to the President and Cabinet Colin Zamba, ministers will provide clarification both in and outside Parliament on the few queries that have been raised by few stakeholders in the media regarding the status of certain projects. Zamba said government reaffirms its commitment to delivering on its promises and to ensuring that the public remains well informed on all the programs, projects and initiatives being implemented in the continued quest of taking the nation's development forward. Now, Parliament has started deliberations on the State of Nation Address, SONA, that President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera delivered on Friday in the August House, moving the motion to kick-start deliberations on the SONA Monday afternoon. Member for Ncheo Central, Albert Mbawala, says Dr. Chakwera presentation of development projects he has achieved district by district was one way of being accountable. Meanwhile, leader of opposition George Chaponda has described the SONA as a campaign speech. Austin Fugula reports. And meanwhile, Leader of the House in Parliament, Richard Chimwendo Banda, says he is not surprised to see the opposition negative response on the State of National Address, SONA, saying politics is taking center stage as the country is going to pause next September. Chimwendo Banda observed that the role of opposition is to give alternative solutions for the betterment of Malawians rather than politicizing the SONA. The Leader of the House said for the past 4 years, the Chakwera government has been committed to address challenges Malawians are facing. Now, Human Rights Consultative Committee, HRCC, has held President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera's State of the Nation address delivered during the opening of the 2025-2026 budget meeting of Parliament, describing it as inclusive. According to HRCC Board Chairperson Robert Mkwesalamba, the address provides an analysis of development projects across all districts in the country. Mkwesalamba added that despite concerns being raised by some citizens about some specific aspects in the address, the speech can only empower rights groups to advocate for completion of some development projects while appreciating the larger picture of projects the current government has implemented. He explains.
Any SONA by a sitting president who has months to go to the next election will always receive criticisms, or it will be trashed. Even if there were no inconsistencies or the concerns that have been raised, we would have still found something to say. Because we are going to elections. This was a message or a speech that he's trying to tell to the nation to maintain him in office simply because he has delivered. So